hear you well. I think we're going to start then. Well, first of all, thank you very much to everyone present for joining us for this webinar on Fairmined information system. Today, we would like to introduce Ecert, which is a new software for managing documental traceability and managing the assurance, managing the certification process that ARM is implementing. So my name is Marcin Piersiak. I'm a standards coordinator at ARM, and here we've got Natalia Uribe, my colleague from Standards and Certification Unit, and Connie Havel, who I'm sure everyone knows, who is responsible for Fairmined marketing. So this is the ARM team that is present at today's webinar. So the aim of our short webinar is to go briefly through main aspects of Ecert. We're going to have a brief introduction, then we're going to introduce you to the login and user management section, after which we're going to do a step-by-step guide to reporting Fairmined purchases. We're going to introduce some functions that will allow you the analysis of your Fairmined flow of goods. And we'll finish with showing you some tools with which you can manage the Fairmined audits and certification. This obviously, the webinar is a great space to answer your questions. So please let us know if you have them. What we can do is to gather all the questions on chat, and I propose that we make our presentation and we'll take the questions at the end of our presentation. Okay, so are there any questions now? Can everyone hear me? Is it okay? Okay, if you
Perfect.
Great. So let's start with the introduction. The assurance and traceability, as you know, are important pillars of the Fairmined certification system, as they provide a guarantee to all the stakeholders, all the actors in the Fairmined supply chain, but also your clients and other external stakeholders that the certified products, that Fairmined Gold is what it's claimed to be. So it's a very important part for the whole system, and in a way, everyone that takes part in it takes responsibility in making sure that it's a well-respected system. So this is why the Fairmined initiative is backed by a robust third-party independent certification, and we have an audit system which can trace back Fairmined methods to their source. Not all of the licenses, as you know, go through the third-party audits for those who sell less than 1.5 kilos of gold in a 3 years period. We have a more flexible arrangement, and this is why it's important that this third-party audit system is complemented by what we call a Fairmined information system, which ensures documental traceability. And this system is operated by us, is operated by ARM, in order to centralize the flow of information, but also to allow more flexibility in audit arrangements, and in the end, lower the overall cost of assurance for Fairmined licenses and other supply chain actors, such as the Fairmined operators. So we had a necessity in ARM in order to fulfill these objectives, to improve the robustness of this Fairmined information system and make sure that it's more flexible and that we can adapt to the evolving needs of our stakeholders. And the solution that we found was Ecert, which is a professional IT solution that was designed by our partners Intact Consult, which is a consultancy that provides IT solutions for certification bodies. So we've been working pretty much all of this year in order to set up the system and make sure that it's adjusted to the specific necessities of Fairmined. Well, as you well know, as a licensee, you are a key participant of the Fairmined supply chain, and it also brings some responsibilities. We need to make sure that everyone in the system plays by the rules of the Fairmined standard. The reporting that you have been doing by now will now be done through Ecert. You will be reporting your Fairmined transactions, the flow of good reports as we call them, which will contribute to the robustness of the certification system, and at the same time will ensure that you are complying with the requirement of the Fairmined standard and the license agreement. So the software provides a platform for a documental traceability control along Fairmined supply chain and offers all the Fairmined actors from artisanal and small-scale mining organizations, Fairmined operators, licensees, a user-friendly tool to report and analyze their flow of goods and manage their audits and certification process online. So as you can see, well, here we have this simple graph showing in a very simplified way a Fairmined supply chain. Well, you will notice that different participants have different functions in this traceability reporting. So today we are going to concentrate on the responsibilities of the licenses. So at the moment, as you know, the licensees have to report to the system only their purchases, the purchase of Fairmined metals. However, it's important to note that you still need to make sure that you can produce evidence of sales of Fairmined gold in case you are being audited. But for now, we're going to concentrate today on reporting purchases. And well, it's obviously very important to assure you that the Ecert is a professional database, and the information that you are going to upload on Ecert is strictly confidential. It's strictly protected, and it's only available to you, to the user, to the certification body that will be assigned to you if you are going to go through an audit, and also authorized personnel at ARM, which pretty much limits to the staff of our certification and standards unit. Okay, so just to sum up some of the benefits of using the Ecert, it will make the flow of goods reporting much more efficient for you, but also for us. We will be able to analyze and look at the red flags that the system is going to come up with and do the follow-up. You're going to have an easy access to the audit and certification information, so a one-stop shop for all your certification needs. And it will also give you a tool to analyze the flow of goods and keep track of all your Fairmined transactions. So everything that is Fairmined related will be here. And in the end, as I mentioned, the investment that ARM has made in the system was made to make the whole process more efficient and more cost-effective for you. So, well, let's start with Ecert. We're going to look at the software itself. Ecert is an online database. So you are going to receive, or you've already received an email with the link that is being sent to the email address that is registered in your Fairmined business self-assessment questionnaire, where you are asked to create a user and the password. So it's important to note that normally, as a default, the main access to Ecert will be given to the principal contact of the organization, and this person will be able to make all the changes. But you also have an option if you want to make more people in your company being able to access Ecert. You can also request it from us. So if you need it, please email Natalia on the address that is in the beginning of the that you got your emails from, which is ecert@responsibleminds.org. There is also a possibility to define read-only permissions. So if you have employees that you want them to view the information that is on the database, but you don't want them to change things, this is also possible. You just need to request it. So well, I hope all of you managed to create the user and the password. If you have any problems, well, please contact us after the webinar, and Natalia can take you through this process. So now we're going to start with the flow of goods reporting, well, which is the main purpose of Ecert. So let me log in. So normally you will be using this address, arm.e-ecert.net, but for today, for the purpose of the demonstration, I'm going to use a demo version, but this is not the version that you will be using. So let me just quickly log in. Okay, well, so this is a test, a dummy user that we created that already has some transactions put in. But what we are going to do now is I'm going to show you how you do your reporting. So we are at the moment, as you can see, in the flow of goods section, and we need to go to the purchase menu. Okay, so here where we have a lot of information, but for now, in order to create, to report a new transaction, we are going to press new. Okay, so the system asks us who we are going to buy from. So normally, well, you can only buy Fairmined Gold from authorized operators, so the suppliers that are authorized by ARM, and only those authorized operators will be in the system. So you can be sure that if someone is in the system, is an operator that really will be selling Fairmined Gold and will be going also through the audit process. So for now, for our first transaction, we're going to buy from the Fairmined operator 1, who is also a FAB, or a first authorized buyer, which means that this operator buys directly from the mining organizations. So they normally they also pay the premium and so on. Okay, so we're buying from them, from Fairmined operator 1. So the first thing the system asks us is to put an invoice number and the invoice date. And this is a very important information because these two criteria will later be used to match the transaction. So I'm going to show you later on how it looks like from the point of view of Fairmined operator 1. So from the supplier we are buying the gold, but it's very important that the invoice number is input as it is on the invoice. Okay, so we are going to put an invoice number. Well, it's something simple, FM1 -1, so let's say first transaction, and we're going to leave the date of transaction from today. So now we need to go to the transaction details, and we're going to create a new row. We're going to add a new transaction. Here we are going to define all the parameters of our transaction. So first we're going to choose the metal. We have these three choices. Let's buy gold for now. The product, which is an option of between buying ecological Fairmined gold or just normal or regular Fairmined gold. Let's, for the purpose of the exercise, buy some ecological gold. And we're going to buy an alloy, the weight of which is, let's put 1,000 grams. So we're going to buy a kilo of alloy. And here we have an option to put purity either in percents or in carats. So our alloy, let's say, is 18 carats. So you're going to put this. And as you can see, it automatically changes the percentage purity to 75%. And we're going to buy it in a, let's say, in a wire and under the sourcing model labeled, meaning that the gold must be traceable all the way to the product. So the physical traceability from mine to the product. Right, so now we have our transaction input, and we have two options. We can either save it or submit. If we are not sure yet, maybe we just put it as a draft, but we want to confirm something, we can save it. And this is only staying for now on our system. It's not going to be seen yet by the person, by the Fairmined operator one who we are buying from. So if we save it for now, we can now see, if you then go back to purchase, we can see that on our list of transactions, we have our transaction here, but it's still without the submission date. So it means that it's still as a draft. Okay, so if we want to submit it now, we are going to enter the transaction again. And this time we are pressing the submit button. So do we really want to submit this transaction? Yes, we do. Okay. And now we can see that on our list of purchase transactions, we have our transaction already submitted. So the status changes to submitted from new, and we can see the submission date, which is today. Okay. So, well, just for the sake of the exercise, let's very briefly buy something else. This time we're going to buy from Fairmined operator 2. Okay, so the invoice number, and let's put the date of the invoice as 1st of December. And very briefly, let's create a new transaction. So this time we're going to buy silver, a regular silver. We're going to buy 2 kilos. So you can see I can just put 2 and here find the right weight unit. So we've got 2 kilos, and we're going to buy it with a 99% purity as a bar. And this time we're going to, well, let's also put labeled as a sourcing model. Okay, so we submit it. And here we have it now as a new transaction. We bought some silver from Fairmined operator 2. It's important to see that the system is already calculating the amount, the content of Fairmined metals in the purchase. So here we bought silver with 99% purity, and it calculated it as a one kilo 0.98 of pure silver, and the same happens for gold that we bought with an 18 karat within an 18 karat alloy. Okay, so for now we'd like to show you a situation when for some reason you are not going to be able to make a purchase within a semester. So basically, in order for us to know that you haven't purchased anything, we need to have some signal from you that you haven't purchased. So what you need to do, you still have the obligation to report, even if you haven't bought within the semester. But what you need to do then is, when you're choosing a supplier in the new transaction, you need to choose no purchase to report. Okay, and this way we will know that this is a transaction, that this is a no transaction. So in the invoice number, you can just put the name of the company. So in this case, let's put license C1 and the date of reporting. And here in the invoice date, we can put the last day of the reporting period. So here we're going to put the last day of the year. And here it doesn't really matter that much what you're going to report. So well, we can just choose the first options. The very important thing is that in weight you are going to put 0. Okay, so when you report no purchases, you need to put 0 in weight, and this will come up on our system. This will show us that you have reported, but you haven't actually bought anything. Here, well, we can put whatever we wish. It doesn't really matter, but we need to put something because these are obligatory fields. As you can see, they have this asterisk next to them, which means that we have to fill them in. So again, done, submit, yes, and this shows ARM that you haven't made any purchase in the reporting period. Okay, so now we are going to go to the dashboard. So here in the dashboard you can see 5 recent transactions. So at the moment, where we can see our 2 transactions, they have this we have these different colors, different link statuses, and at the moment both of our transactions are in orange, which means they are not confirmed. They are not confirmed by the Fairmined operators that you bought it from. So the whole idea of our traceability chain is to generate these connections between different levels of the supply chain, where we have one side reporting and another confirming or not confirming the purchase they have made. So in order that we can understand it better, how it works, well, from behind the scenes, we can show you how a Fairmined operator would confirm your transaction. So let me just quickly log in as a Fairmined operator. Okay, and I'm going to enter as a Fairmined operator 1. Okay, so the Fairmined operator has 2 responsibilities. We're not going to talk much about it because it's not, well, that much of your interest, but they have to report their purchases that may be from other operators or from the mining organizations. But what concerns us is that they have to confirm their sales. So here we're going to, you can see here we logged in as a Fairmined operator 1, and we're going to go to their sales section. And here we have a button that says purchase confirmation, and this is where we need to go. Okay, so we can see here the transaction that we have just submitted. So here is our invoice date and licensee one, which is our test group. So we're going to go inside this transaction, and what I can see is the data that a licensee has input. So what I need to go, the only thing I need to go as a Fairmined operator is to make sure that all the details are correct and just confirm. So okay, we're just we're looking at our invoices, everything is okay, so I can submit the transaction. Okay, great. So I've submitted our transaction. So now let's go to the licensee, and we can see that in the transaction that we've just confirmed as an operator, now we have a change of the link status, and it says it's in green, and it says there is a full match, which means that the transaction has been confirmed, and we have created a link between a licensee and their supplier, and the transaction is correct. So now let's see another option. So let's go back to, now we're going to log in as a Fairmined operator 2, and we are going to confirm the purchase. So I need to find it first. We can filter. Okay, so we have Fairmined operator 2, and we go into the flow of goods, and we're going to confirm the purchase. Right, so here we can see the other transaction that we have just reported as a licensee. Let's go inside, and this time we can see we are comparing the data, and we can see that yes, we have sold some gold to the licensee, but it wasn't 2 kilos, but only 1 kilo. Okay, so what I need to do is just to make the amends, and I submit it. And here I can see the transaction appears as red. So the link status is no match. And the same will appear if I now go to the screen of the licensee one. We can see that, hold on, I need to refresh it. Okay, and now we can see that the transaction is in red, which means that there is a problem. It means that our supplier has seen our report, but they have changed it. They say that something is wrong. So what we need to do is to go back to our transaction, and if we see that, oh right, yes, we made a mistake, we have input 2 kilos and it really was only 1 kilo, we can just change it and submit it again. And this time our transaction appears as green, everything is correct. In a case where you have a red transaction, you have a red link status, where there is no match, you review your transaction and you are sure that you made no mistake. In this case, please contact ARM, and we are going to talk to the supplier and see where the mistake was generated. Okay, right. So now we're going to go to the analysis section, when we can see some options for you to trace and manage your Fairmined transactions. So first, we've got the report on the link status. Well, here you have all the suppliers that you have purchased from, all the transactions, and in these two columns, we can see what we have reported, my company, and what has been reported by the operator. So this is an easy way to filter, and if you want to find all the transactions that have no match and you need to check them, you can filter by them, and only those that are in red will appear. And then you can go inside this specific transaction and check what is wrong. Okay, so going back to the analysis, we have another report which basically sums up all your purchases of Fairmined Gold, and you can filter it by a period of the invoices. So you can make easy reports that will sum up of how much of different metals and different products you have purchased as an organization. Okay, and the last analysis instrument that we'd like to show you is the supply chain graph, where you can, in a graphic way, you can analyze your supply chain, so you can see who you are buying from. So this, well, for a licensee is not that complex, because you will only have the suppliers. You will only report your purchase, so you're only tracing it back one level up. However, well, for other participants of the supply chain, well, it can create quite complex graphs showing who buys from whom and where the Fairmined Gold is then being sold. And is also a very interesting instrument for us at ARM to see in a graphic way the Fairmined supply chain from the mine all the way to the licensee. Okay, well, so this is the reporting part. In all the reports you have an option to export to Excel and analyze this information in a different form if you wish. Okay, so the last part that we'd like to very briefly take you through is the My Data section, and here is where basically you are going to see the information that we've got for your company on our database. So if you see, well, this is an example, so there's not much here, but if you see that there have been some changes in the address or in the numbers or contact persons that we have here for your company, well, you won't be able to change it, because we need to make sure that we notice the change. And if you see them, please just press the feedback button, and you can very quickly ask us to make this change for you. So this will generate an email that we are going to receive here at ARM. And the rest of the menu, well, we're just going to very briefly go for it. The contract data is going to show you the basic information of how your audit process is going. So if you are undergoing an audit, well, here you can see, for example, this licensee is undergoing an audit with SCS Global Services. They have the inspection body assigned, and you can also check the status of the of this contract. So whether the audit is in progress, whether it's already been done and we're waiting for the report, and so on. In the audit section, you are able to download the information that the auditor gathered. And here in the certification, you will be able to see the status of your certification or of your authorization, because the supply chain authors are authorized by ARM to purchase Fairmined Gold. And you will have the dates of validity of your certificate and so on, and you will be able to download the certificate in this last section here. So, well, I guess this is pretty much all we wanted to share with you today. It is important to mention that we have also generated a Fairmined manual for the licensees, and I understand that you have already been sent it. So this would be well the first instance. If you have any problems, any doubts, you can go and check it. It's quite detailed, and obviously if you have any doubts, you are very welcome to write to Natalia, as I mentioned, on Ecert at responsibleminds.org. We are also preparing a tutorial which will pretty much cover what we have been talking about today, if you prefer it to refresh your memory in this way. So thank you very much in the name of the standards and certification team. We really do hope that Ecert will be a useful tool for you. It will definitely be very useful for us, and it will make the whole system much more waterproof and much more solid.